And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Kassarian, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. What do I have here? That's a pretty good question, guys. This is our first space station. Space station. Yeah, space station. Doesn't look like a space station, but it's a space station. It is not designed to move. You can see there's a decoupler here. Over here. Right there. And so this thing is going to sit in orbit of course it's dark. Of the moon. There we go. Now, this took some inventive packing. Not quite as inventive as some of, Scott Manley's things, but inventive nonetheless. What do I mean by inventive? Well, we get to use infernal robotics. Look at that. Look at those pistons deploying. Nice, huh? Now, this would have been a lot better if I just put these all in action groups. But, of course, I did not think of that. There we go. I was originally just going to put one of these on, but then I decided to put two. Because I didn't want to make it look too Skylab-esque. But it is a Skylab. That's the whole point of this thing. It is, in fact, a Skylab. Ta-da! No matter where the sun is up, we should have some decent coverage of it. It is most literally a Skylab. Look at that, mobile processing lab. So why don't we get some more personnel in there? We have Organ and Hermes and the Halful Kerman. Nice. And Organ Kerman is actually a veteran of this little adventure. So he already knows how the game is played. Now go away. Command pod. Processing lab. Stop that. Right, it doesn't like to transfer for some unknown reason. Even though CLS says they're connected. Yeah, see? Connected, and crew hatch. Okay, fine. CLS says they're connected. Oh, wait, hold on, there we go. Transfer. Transfer. Beautiful. Okay. That is perfect. So now, as we take a look at this thing, we can see we are now operational. Nice! And we have poor old Organ is sitting up in the cockpit. And RPM decided to stop functioning again for some unknown reason, but that's neither here nor there. Now, the reason we did this... Yeah, stage. There we go. Alright, let's get servo control out of here. Let's get this out of there. Let's get the alarm clock out of here, the mover planner out of here, and that out of there too. Now, the reason I brought this all up is because this thing is going to be useful. Because it's going to serve as a refueling and sort of station point for our other vehicles. Now, I did kind of derp on the design here. I should have added another docking port somewhere. But there really isn't a great place to put one on this station. So I ended up, not with CLS installed at any rate, so I ended up just putting one, and we're going to kind of have to play shuffle with some of our probes that we send up, or some of our missions that come up here. So, after all, I told you the point of this thing was to function as a resupply base. So what are we resupplying? Well, we are in fact resupplying the lander. That's right, our heavy lander. 96 by... Oof. Let's come over here. Let's do maneuver planner. Circularize at the next apoapse. Create and execute that, please. Because it's going to be easier to get this thing into a circular orbit. And then once we are into a circular orbit, we can actually then kind of flip ourselves over and do a burn just to stabilize ourselves. Now, if you noticed, we have a monumentally large amount of life support on this thing. Not only are we using life support storage, we also actually have some of the life support recyclers. About the only thing we can't recycle really well is food. So we are going to have to send more food up, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal for us. It really shouldn't be. There we go. Nice and wibbly there. That's always good to see. And then we can go into our maneuver planner again. And inclination. I'll do 60. Looks good enough for me. We can do that. Just to get us into a nice, stable, stationary orbit. Now, we're going to have to bring the lander over to this thing, and we're going to have to dock this lander, which is going to be... fun? Is fun a good word? And then what we'll do is we'll take 2 of our crew, and we'll take them down to the planet's surface. And then we'll bring them back up. And the entire point with this thing, by the by, isn't necessarily to... It's an interesting place to put the orbit burn. Very interesting place to put it. The entire point of this, by the way, is not in fact to... Yeah, that looks good enough, Mike Jeb. That looks plenty good enough. Kind of paddle wheel design on the solar panels there. There we go. We don't have a lot of fuel left in these tanks, but it actually is a decent amount there. I forgot to give this thing an antenna, didn't I? Oops. Well, we'll have to put one on later. Okay, so that'll have to be in another mission then. Let's cycle the SAS there. So we're going to have to grab this lander. And we're going to have to bring this lander over to that thing, dock it, connect it, and I hope to God this thing has enough fuel in it. If it doesn't, we're going to be in for a really long trip. Oh, this should have plenty. What do my Delphi stats look like? Yeah, that should be fine. Alright, so I'm going to go do that entire bit of shenanigans. Set as target. Match planes. Create and execute. We have a 20 kilometer by a God knows what kilometer burn. Now, of course, the advantage of this little baby is that she really doesn't care about much. This thing is pretty indestructible, to be honest with you guys. And pretty useful. But, yeah, I mean, we have plenty. See, the sun's already back out. There's some debris out there. God knows what the debris is. Now, the thing about missing that antenna is the next mission we send up can actually help with that, let's say. Alright, 10 times. We're coming up on that burn. MechJeb has obviously done the calculation for fuel, so it knows how much we're going to have to burn. Not like anyone else really knows how much we're going to have to burn, but MechJeb does, which is really all I care about. Alright, so we're going to go through this. I'm going to get these guys docked up, and I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Alright, and we are back, guys. So, what are we doing now? Looks like nothing's changed, right? Actually, that's not correct. I went down to the moon with one of my crew members. As a matter of fact, I believe it was either Halfa or Hermes that went down with me. So, we're now back, and we're going to do some transfers. So, what we're going to do is we're going to open up our science tab. We're going to open up the Mark 1-2 command pod, science container, and set it to receive mode. And then, I believe there's a way. X for that, X for that, transfer that, transfer that, transfer that, transfer that, transfer that, transfer all of those. And now we have all of our science stored up in that command pod. Now, of course, we cannot, in fact, reuse any of these bays. Or can we? Hold on. Material study high space over the moon. Keep data. Science. Science Junior. Exfer. And I believe we can't use the materials bay again. If I can find on this darn thing. Come on. Where did I shove you? Well, this is interesting. Now, normally I'd clean the experiments, but it looks like somehow this is doing something weird, where it's not actually checking to see if the experiments are good or not. But that's fine. So now all we're going to need to do is send up another module that's going to come up here, another crew, that can come up here and actually collect the data, which will be pretty valuable to us. So we can send up another mission to get the data out of this thing and bring it back to Kerbal, and also top off some of the stuff like the tanks in this, and the life support modules, and all that sort of stuff. Because we're running a bit low on fuel and a bit low on life support modules. That is fine, however. That other mission will have to come up, and unfortunately, we only have one docking door on this thing. So what I'll probably end up doing is taking this thing down to the moon. I think I can, yeah, I can still observe, can't I? Yeah, so crew manifest must be doing, yeah, see? Okay. Crew manifest must be doing something kind of weird with this. That is fine, however. So what we'll do is we'll send up another mission, or we'll send this thing back down, actually, to collect more science results. And then we will, if we can get this thing full tanked up again. So let's see if we can get it tanked up again. Monopropellant out of... let's see. That. And we'll put it into... that, okay. And then we'll go to liquid fuel. Nope. Nope, nope. So we'll transfer out of that. And into these. Yeah, so we're going to be out of liquid fuel in these now. Okay. Move this out of the way. Yeah, okay, so... that's not going to work. Alright. So this thing is empty on fuel. Alright, that's unfortunate. So we'll have to send up another unit to come up here and dock. What I think I'm going to do is show you guys the construction of it, and then I'll put that up separately. So let's get back to the Space Center. And it's going to be a pretty simple construction, I'm thinking. So let's get into our VAB. Let's start working on it. So I'll throw this together on camera with you guys, and then I'll just lift it up into orbit myself. So, let's kick to propulsion. We'll do it like this. Put a mech jet pod on it. then we'll go back to propulsion. Utility. Look for the center line. We'll shove that on like that. So, unfortunately, CLS is becoming kind of a pain in the rear end for me. It's not working right. So I'm going to have to not use it, which is unfortunate. Whether it is working right, but the stuff it's supposed to go along with just kind of isn't. So, let's take a look what else we can stick on this thing. We don't need any of this, really. No, we can put one of those on. Yeah, it should be decent. I want this thing to get up there full. Oh, I can't rename the damn. Remind me before we launch this thing that I have to shut down symmetry. Okay. So, then... that on there. So this is just going to be a huge fuel tank, basically. And we can also go over here. Oh, right, it's under that, isn't it? Search. That should do the trick. So this will just be a service container, basically. And then what we can do... Let's see. Yeah, it's not going to work. Okay, so what I'll do... Alright. Fuel and service pod, save that load. And then I want to look at the Munar research. And I want to pull the booster off of this thing. And then we'll load this up again. And we'll see if the Fat Boy booster actually has the capability to take this thing into orbit. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is come down over here. Utility. I know it's under structural. Not the prettiest I've ever done, that's for certain. Well, that'll hold in place at least. Alright, that's fine, it'll hold in place. Alright, so let's go with a conic fairing. How about that? Okay, so that's on there, and then let's get... That should be good to get it out there. Notice, by the way, that those are 5-meter parts down there because of tweak scale. So what I did was I took a 5-meter... I took a main sail and some of those tanks, and I just made them bigger. Alright, I just tweak scaled them up to full. So that should get me, let's see, 2-4 should definitely get me into orbit. And then, yeah, so that should be good. And then this stage will actually get me over there, which I like. I like that a lot. Let's also stick on some solar panels. Heck's that? Oh, hook support. Let's just chuck... I just shot past them, didn't I? One, two, three, four, five, six. Ooh, I'm a little short on money. So what we'll have to do is I'll have to get myself a bit more cash, and then I'll meet you guys, and then I'll launch this thing into orbit. So that shouldn't be too difficult, though. Anyways, guys, this has been Mr. Kassarian. I want to thank you all for watching. If you want to like, comment, subscribe, please do. If you like this episode, just let me know that you did. If you didn't, tell me what I could do better. Or tell me no. Let me know what I could do better. Alright, guys. See you around.